If you want to safely and easily remove cradle cap from your baby's scalp, this video is the one for you. Here was a quick before and after, and stay tuned for more. Hi, I'm Taylor. Welcome to my channel where we do a little bit of everything, but most importantly, we are giving the glory to God and Jesus Christ, to be specific. For today's video, I'm showing you guys how to easily remove cradle cap from your baby's hair in just a few easy steps. You will need oil. I prefer to use coconut oil or olive oil, a comb, and some baby shampoo. First, you want to start by putting the oil directly on the baby's scalp, and so that's why you want to make sure it's an oil that is not too harsh. And if you don't have the little oil dropper that you see in the video, you could easily just part the child's hair and rub the oil on their scalp that way. But I definitely would recommend getting you a dropper just because it makes it a little bit easier to get the oil directly on the scalp without it being too messy. But as you can see, I'm taking oil and putting it on the baby's scalp and then massaging it in as I'm doing that, just because you want to make sure it really gets on the scalp. And if you are unsure if your baby has cradle cap, pull their hair apart, like part it and look at the scalp, and typically it will look like dandruff, but more so like scabby on their scalp. And I definitely want to say this, if you are a new mom or you haven't had a baby in a while, cradle cap is totally normal, and majority of children get it when they first come out the womb. It is nothing that you are doing, so we just have to take these precautions to get rid of it, because if you don't get rid of cradle cap before it gets too far along or it worsens, it can cause severe hair loss to your baby and irritation because it's dry and it's itchy. Disclaimer, I am by no means a medical professional or a cosmetologist. I just want to share my experiences with ridding my child of cradle cap in a way that is safe and efficient and helpful to you all. But like I said, not a professional by any means. So take this tutorial and, do what you will, do your own research aided with that. And if you look closely here, this is what the cradle cap looks like, with the scalp being completely smothered in the oil. That's why it's really important to get down to the scalp and massage it in, so that way the oil will sit on top of the cradle cap, work its way into the scalp, and it will be easier for us to be able to remove it. And once I'm done smothering her scalp, I always put on a bonnet. That way when she's in the bed or I'm holding her, we're not getting oil all over the place because her hair is very much oiled up. I just took one of my extra bonnets and wrapped it around her head twice because her head is very small. It would fit and it stayed perfectly in place, and this is what it looks like when it's on, and isn't she adorable? Now we'll wait the time for about 30 to 40 minutes max, but you don't want to leave it on too long. And once the time is up, we are going to wash the baby's hair, and as you can see, the cradle cap has started to lift off of the scalp and is now in the baby's hair. And this is where you will take your comb and your choice of baby shampoo to begin the washing process. And you could either comb through the cradle cap first and then wash, but I'm going to wash and comb it out at the same time just to save time, because my baby, she don't be liking sitting in that bath too long, so I really want to hurry up and get her in and out. So, of course, lather the soap into the baby's scalp and make sure you're being gentle. I feel like that's something I need to stress. Be gentle through the entire process. You don't want to be rough at all, because a baby's scalp is still very fresh. It's sensitive, so any pressure that is too hard could rub your baby's hair away as well. So you want to make sure that you're being gentle, so that way you're just getting the cradle cap out and not causing any more harm to the baby. So once I begin to work the shampoo into the baby's hair, I'm slowly combing section by section, but making sure that I am getting to the scalp. And as you can see the cradle cap coming off of the scalp, and it's actually in the comb, because I'm making sure to gently scrape the scalp. And the cradle cap is coming right up because I left all that oil in, and it softened the cradle cap to where once you comb through, it's coming right off the scalp. And like I stated earlier, we want to be gentle because the baby's scalp is very sensitive. But because the baby's scalp is sensitive, it will still turn red because you are scraping off that cradle cap, so it is fresh. So it's not red because we hurt the baby or anything like that. It's just red because that layer of the cradle cap has been removed and now the scalp can actually breathe. And it is best to go section by section, so that way we are making sure we are getting all of the cradle cap and that we're not missing any spots. And as you go through this, you will notice that you are getting the cradle cap off. As you can see, a little bit of hair is coming out, which is normal. Everyone loses hair, so don't freak out about that. The baby will lose a little bit of hair as we do this process, just because everyone's hair sheds. That's the process in which hair grows. You got to lose some to get more. And then once we comb the cradle cap out, we will gently rinse the hair. And I am washing my baby's hair and rinsing with a slight warm water. You don't want it too hot, but you also don't want it too cold, just because babies' temperature fluctuates different than ours on our body because they're smaller. But I am making sure that I am rinsing every piece out and going through kind of section by section, but also quick enough to where my baby's not getting irritated, because if you know, you know, babies don't want to be sitting in that bath forever. And here's an up close shot of the baby's scalp. You can still see that there is some cradle cap in the hair, but not necessarily on the scalp. So I'm going to do an extra wash just so we can get rid of everything else that's on there. And then we are just going to repeat that process again. Lather, wash, make sure we're getting into the scalp with all the shampoo. And this time it will be a lot easier just because we have already removed the base layer of all of the cradle cap, and we're going to make sure to comb through again to get any of the remaining cradle cap out of the hair, and if there is some left on the scalp. But as you can see, it's definitely easier to get through and comb this hair because there's not as much cradle cap. And by this time, if you have done this process correctly, you will be able to see that there is no remaining cradle cap on the scalp at this time. And you will have to repeat this process a few times just because cradle cap does come back, just because your baby's hair is dry, and as it's transitioning from the newborn hair phase into a more mature baby hair phase. But after we finish, this is what the hair looks like before I put anything else on it. You can see that it is fresh and clean and clear of all cradle cap. Now that baby has a clean scalp and is dressed, I go in with just a little bit of olive oil, so that way the baby's hair is not dry after having to go through all of that. And then on top of my olive oil, I actually like to use coconut oil too, just because coconut oil is great for everything. It's great for skin, it's great for hair, nails, all of that extra stuff. So, and I love the smell of coconut oil after washing the baby's hair. So I add that to the scalp too, generously, and just all over the baby's head. And then I don't show you in the video, but I do put a baby, like a baby hat on to just to kind of hold in that moisture. But that's how I safely remove all of the cradle cap from my baby's scalp. As you can see, we have a clean, fresh scalp and a happy baby. We thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe for more family-friendly, safe content. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.